we might be in business. Okay, so here we go. Chapter 4 review. It is 3/20/19. It's your Aunt Shelley's birthday today.
Oh.
Okay, just in case. You know. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Number 1. I'm going to do this on a separate sheet of paper. So let's take number 1 is 4 square root of 48. Okay. All right. Now 48 can be broken down in a lot of ways. 4 and 12 works, but I like to go straight to 16 and 3 because it's faster, it's bigger, okay? So I'm going to go 4 times the square root of 16 and the square root of 3. 16 times 3 makes 48, okay? And I like that because there is a square root of 16. So the square root of 16 is 4. So I've got the 4 that I started with from the outside, times the 4 from the square root of 16, so I end up getting an answer of 16. Square root of 3, and I want to leave the square root of 3 as a square root of 3. It's an ugly number, it's an irrational number, just leave it alone. Thumbs up? Okay.
Sir.
Number 2, and if I get going too fast, please ask me to slow down, okay? 2 is a little bit more work, but we can do it, okay? Slide over, I've got a 3x square root of 18x to the 10th, okay? All right, here's what we're going to do. 3x square root of 9 square root of 2. I want to take half my exponent, which I can. I can just make it x to the 5th. I can take half my exponent, x to the 5th. Okay, so it's been done. It's been done. Now, 3x, right? Square root of 9. Square root of 9. I know square root of 9 is. Square root of 9 is just 3. Okay. This x to the 5 has been done, right? It's been done. So I'm just going to write it down. And what's left over is this square root of 2, which is an irrational number. I'm going to leave it as the square root of 2. Now let me tidy it up. Tidy it up. I've got a 3 times 3 is a 9. I've got x and x5. x6. Okay, because that's a 1 right there. X to the 6th times the square root of 2. Okay, a little bit harder, but you guys could do that, right? Okay. Number 3, and slow me down if I get going too fast. I'll write down 3 and I'll wait for you, okay? Okay. All right, number 3, you guys ready for 3?
Yeah.
Okay, slide it up. Okay, square root of 121 is actually a perfect square. Square root of 121 is actually 11. It really is. It's a perfect square, okay? Now, I have to take half this. Don't make that x to the 3. I have to take half of it. I can't take half of 9 without getting a decimal. So I'm going to rewrite the square root of x to the 8th times the square root of x, okay? All right, I'll leave the 11 out there. Now I'm going to take half of that. Half of the 8 makes an x to the 4th. I can't take half of that. Can't. So I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, thumbs up. Okay.
Wait, did you say you can't take half from the 4?
Can't take half of 1
Oh.
without getting a decimal. Okay. And then I said number 4. Right, that's where the 4 came from.
Okay.
Number 4. Easiest problem on the test. Square root of 144 over 25 is just 12/5. Answer. Square root of 144, square root of 25. Okay. Easy, right? Everybody agree? Okay. Number 5. All right. And number 5 is square root of 5 over 3. Yeah, this is like the one you did, isn't it? So really it's like the square root of 5 over the square root of 3. Now the rule is this. You can't have a square root in the denominator. You can't. So we've got to get rid of the square root down here. So I'm going to multiply the problem with problem. So you fix the problem with problem. What's the problem? The problem is the square root of 3. So if I multiply by the square root of 3, fix the problem with the problem, it'll clear it. It's going to clear the square root. So what I'm going to get on the bottom is the square root of 9, which is nice because square root of 9 is just 3, right? On the top, I'll get the square root of 15. Okay, I'm almost done because I know what the square root of 9 is. That's 3. Now, is the square root gone? Yeah. Now I would love to divide 3 into 15, but that's not really 15. That's really like a 3.9, it's an ugly number, okay? So don't divide 3 into square root of 15 because that's not a 15. That's a really ugly decimal number, okay? You're done. Is there a square root at the bottom? No, you're done. Am I doing okay? 6. All right, 5 square roots of 27 minus 2 square roots of 12. Okay, you can only add or subtract them if they're the same. They're not. I've got a square root of 27 and a 12. I cannot add or subtract them, but I can reduce them, and maybe I can. All right, so I know 27 can be the square root of 9 times the square root of 3, okay? I know 12 can be the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. So I'm thinking, okay, I need numbers. 9 and 3 make 27, and 4 and 3 make 12, right? So now if I take some square roots, let's see. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 4 is 2. So all I did, that's bad, look at 3, horrible 3, huh? So all I did is I took the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 4 is 2. Now I'm going to multiply. I'm going to get a 15 square roots of 3 minus a 4 square roots of 3. Okay, now I'm looking at, wait a minute, I think I can subtract them, right? They're the same. So I get an 11 square roots of 3, okay? How's that?
You don't minus the square roots.
No, you don't. No, it's like 15 of these. Let's say it's 15 candy bars. Take away 4 candy bars. But they're not candy bars, they're square roots of 3s, right? So you reach into a bag and you, hey, here's a square root of 3. I've got 15 of these in my bag. You're going to come and take 4 of them. What's left in the bag? 11 of these square roots of 3s, right? Okay. All right, turn the page for me, right? All right, number 7. All right, I've got 2 square roots of 6 times 3 square roots of 3. Okay, I'm going to multiply. Multiply. There's no plus or minuses, right? No plus or minuses, so just multiply. So I get a 6 square roots of 18, right? I'm going to break down the 18. So the 6 stays there. 18 would be a square root of 9, square root of 2. I like those numbers because I know the square root of 9, right? So I've got my 6. Square root of 9 is 3 square roots of 2. 6 times 3 is 18, and the square root of 2 is an ugly, decimal, irrational number. So I'm just going to leave it as that, okay? Thumbs up? Doing okay, huh? Go ahead, Tana. I will wait for you. I'm happy. I'm just going to write down number 8 while you work on it, okay? Okay, number 8, I'm going to distribute. I'm going to go, okay, 2 square roots of 5 times 4 square roots of 5. Then 2 square roots of 5 times 2, okay? So I'm just going to distribute, okay? So I'm going to get 8 square roots of 25. You see it? 8 square roots of 25, okay? Then plus 4 square roots of 5. All right? Well, I see something. Square root of 25, right? So I get 8 square root of 25 is 5 plus 4 square roots of 5, right? 5 times 8 is 40 plus 4 square roots of 5. I'd like to add them. I really would like to add them, but I can't. They're different, so I can't add them. So I'm going to stop there. All right, second number 8. I got 2 number 8s, okay? Number 8, okay? First of all, 8, I've got y equals x squared minus 2x plus 35. And it says, first of all, find the zeros, okay? Find the zeros. All right, 0 equals, so we're going to find the zeros. 0 equals x squared minus 2x plus 35. Okay, now, let's factor. Let's factor. You guys can you see it? Let's factor. Factor is the easiest way to do this. So I'm going to factor x and x, right? I'm going to factor. It's the easiest way to do this problem. Okay, what times what makes 35? Oh, that's a minus 35, isn't it? Has to be. Yes, almost made a bad mistake. Has to be. Yep. What times what makes 35? There you go. -7, +5. But if I do my many equations, I get x equals 7 and x equals -5, right? So on a graph, and I'm just going to do a rough graph. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we'd go back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have a dot right there. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I'll just stop there, okay? Okay, so I factored. And
Are those both minus 35?
they will make it -35 when you multiply, won't they?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, now what about my vertex? Juan Carlos, help me out. How do I find my vertex?
So for that one, what I did, do you want it like in the formula or like from there?
That's great. There's two ways to get it. There's two ways. One is the formula. The other is right here. Right here's the middle. Can you guys see that? Right there's the middle. Right, that's my line of symmetry. Right there's right smack dab in the middle, right? So my line of symmetry is x equals 1. Is that how you did it?
No. I just kind of graphed it, then I factored out from the formula. That's why I got the points.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to leave that there, okay? So I got 1. How do I find the corresponding y value? Plug it in, right? Plug it in. So I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to plug in my 1. And so I'm going to go y equals my 1 squared minus 2 times my 1 minus my 35. And I think I get a -36. Okay. So I have a point way down. Let's go 10, 20, 30, 36, way down here. I also have a y-intercept of -35. It's about there, and so my graph is going to look something like this. Not a perfect graph, but good enough for me for a review, right? Good enough for a review. We're going to make it look beautiful. The numbers are better on the quiz. Numbers are much better on the quiz, okay? How am I doing?
Hold on.
I will wait for you, okay? We are getting close. All right. Turn the page. No, I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. Okay. All right. Turn the page. Number 9. Number 9. Let's see what I got. Okay. Number 9. I have 2x squared minus 20x minus 9 equals 0. Okay, now this time, and you're going to have to show by completing the square. It's going to be part of your points. Okay, to get your points, you have to do it by what it says. So complete the square. What's step 1? Bring not yet. Bring over. Bring 9 over. 2x squared minus 20x equals 9. Okay. Second step. Divide out the 2. Right. Divide out that 2 because you need an x squared, not a 2x squared. You need an x squared. So I divide out the 2. I'll have a 1x squared minus a 10x equals 4.5. All right, decimals, I can handle that. I'm not afraid of decimals or fractions. Okay, half of 10. Half of 10. 5 squared is? So we're going to add, right, I'm going to add 25. And I'm going to add 25, right? Okay, now that'll factor. Am I going too fast? Maybe. I'll wait for it. That'll factor into an x minus 5, or x minus 5 squared equals 29.5. Decimal, I don't care. They don't scare me. I can do decimals. Okay. Square root, right? So I'm going to get an x minus 5 equals 2 answers. 2 answers, plus or minus the square root of 29.5. Okay, again, it's not a very nice number, but it's right. Lastly, let's bring over the 5, add 5, x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 29.5 plus 5. Okay, and there are 2 answers. Sorry, you guys. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'll try and pace it better. Okay. I'll go more slowly. Okay. All right. Give me thumbs up when you're ready for 10. Okay. Okay, here it is. Solve it. What is the easiest way for you? There's two ways I can see they're both easy. Two ways. What do you like? What's that?
Squared root.
Yeah, so take over the 9, right? X squared equals 9. Totally right. Square root it, right? How many answers, though? 2. Square root. So my answers are x equals plus or minus 3. If you'd factored it, right? If you'd factored it, you'd still get your 2 answers, okay? But that works. Whatever's easiest for you, right? Okay. Let's do 11 the same way, okay? So let's add 50. You guys okay? Plus 50, plus 50, plus 50, plus 50, right? Plus 50, plus 50. 3x squared equals 50, right? Divide by 3, divide by 3. Now I get a couple of choices. I could get this as a decimal, which is about 26.6 repeating, or 26 2/3, right? Either way, I just divided, that's all. Or if you use your calculus, 26.66666. Yeah. Square root, right? Oh, is it 16? Yeah, it is 16. It is 16. It is 16. Thanks. 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 And then I'm just gonna do this. What is the square root of? So if I use my calculator, this time I'm actually going to use my calculator. X equal to plus or minus about 4.08. That's a 4. It's bad looking 4. 4.08. Okay. Or if you wanted to leave it like this, I'd take that too. Okay, plus or minus. Let's do the plus or minus, right? Okay. How am I doing? Okay, you guys ready for 12? I will wait. And I got this decimal number just by square rooting this number, okay? Just use my calculator, that's all. All right, number 12. Let's look at 12, okay?
Wait, in the test, do you want us to get them to fractions, or I mean to like decimals, or do you want to leave them as square roots?
You're going to get better numbers, and square root numbers are better for me, unless it's a story problem.
Okay.
And you want to know when something hits the ground, then we want a decimal, because we want to know, you know, right? Okay, number 12. I have an x plus 6 squared equals 49. Okay, what do you think? What are we going to do? Square root it, right? How many answers? How many answers? So I'm going to have a x plus 6 equals 7 and an x plus 6 equals a negative 7. 2 answers, right? 2 answers, 7 and negative 7. Then it gets easy, right? Minus 6, x equals 1. Minus 6, x is negative 13. Okay, here's my 2 answers. X squared minus 3x minus 18 equals 0. Okay? All right, what do you think is the easiest way to do this one? Factor. I taught you how to factor, so it becomes easy, right? You don't want to complete the square on this one, do you? Heck no, if it factors, factor, for crying out loud. Negative 6, positive 3, because negative 6 times 3 makes a negative 18, but when I add them together, it makes a negative 3. But those aren't the answers, right? Those are just the factored part. So then we do our mini equations. Mini equations, right? plus 6 plus 6. One answer is 6. Minus 3, negative 3. Okay, so I got my two answers. Always two answers, right? Remember, x squared, always two answers. Always, okay? Always. I'm not lying. Always two answers. Sometimes, on rare occasions, you can get the same answer twice, but that's still two answers. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at the back page, okay? All right. All right. Look, I got a calculator. I do. So, all right. A rock is dropped from a cliff 100 feet high. At what time will the ball have a height of 30 feet? Now, before we do anything, we got to remember about gravity, okay? So, h equals negative 16 t squared. That's gravity on Earth, okay? That's gravity. This number here is gravity on Earth. And Chase, I think you asked the other day, doesn't go going faster and faster and faster, and that's why it's t squared, right? It's a really good observation, okay? That's gravity in feet. If it was in meters, it'd be 4.9, okay? But we're not doing meters. Ugly numbers. Let's stick with 16, okay? So, we start at 100 feet. So we're going to go, all right, I'm going to go h equals negative 16 t squared plus 100, because I'm starting way up at a 100-foot cliff. Does that make sense? Okay, start at 100, so that's my starting height. So I got to take it up to 100 feet and then drop it. Yeah, Chase?
It's a rock and then a ball.
Oh, thank you. Nobody had pointed that out. That's my fault. Can't be both, right? Yes, my error. What do you want it to be, a ball or a rock? There you go. Rock. Thanks, Chase. I didn't notice that until you noticed it. Okay, so let's drop the rock, okay? So when will the rock have a height of 30? So set this equal to 30. Okay, that makes sense, right? When is the height 30? Change h to 30. Okay, can we solve for this? What are we going to do? Let's solve for t. What are you going to do?
Subtract 100.
Minus 100, minus 100. I'll have negative 70 equals negative 16t squared, right? Okay, just subtracted 100. Divide by negative 16. So what's that? Let's see, 70 divided by 16. I get a 4.375 equals t squared. Then what? Square root that answer. So square root, and I get about 2.09. And now these other two work the same way, with one small exception. We'll talk about this one real quickly. I probably need to take this one out because it's the exact same question, but I'll do that later. Now, what's the height when it hits the ground? What's the height when it hits the ground? 0. So it becomes the same kind of problem. You guys agree? Exact same kind of problem. So I don't really need to do that problem again. You guys okay with that? It's the same exact problem, just different numbers, okay? Same exact problem, okay? Now, 15, almost done. Rationalize. What am I going to do? Conjugate. Good word, yeah. So let's multiply this by 3 plus square root of 6. 3 plus the square root of 6, okay? It's the opposite of that. Okay, 15 plus 5 square root of 6, okay? 15 plus 5 square root of 6. You guys good at that? 9 plus 3 square root of 6 minus 3 square root of 6 minus the square root of 36. Okay, I'll stop and slow down for a second. Okay, so we multiplied by the conjugate, good word, which is the opposite. Which is the opposite of that, right? I distributed 15 plus 5 square root of 6, right? On the bottom, I FOIL it out. 9 positive 3 square root of 6 minus 3 squared is 6 minus square root of 36. Okay, now, cancel, cancel. You are getting this. Look at that. What's the square root of 36 now? This is 6. So I've got 15 plus 5 squared is 6 over 9 minus 6. There's no square root in the bottom anymore, is there? We've cleared the denominator. 15 plus 5 squared is 6 over 3, and that's my answer. All right, and it recorded, and I can put it up